Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in a next and a very important session of Finance Current Affairs. As I always say that this session is really very important. Whether you are preparing for RBI Grade B, this session is really very important. I always say that whether you are preparing for RBI Grade B, whether you're preparing for RBI Grade B examination or maybe PFRDA, IFSCA, SEBI or SIDB examination. So this is a must-watch session for everyone. But before I start the discussion, could you please let me know in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go so that we can begin the discussion. आज का जो session है इसमें जो news हम cover करेंगे that is going to be really very important. और आज की जो news हम discuss करने वाले it has a great probability that it will not only be asked in phase 1, for sure it will be asked in your phase 2 examination and trust me it will surely be asked in your interview part as well. So आइए जरा बिना किसी देरी के आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं, बट एक बार मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में बता दीजिए if I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go. Just give me yes sir, yes sir, yes sir so that we can begin. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So here we go with the first news, but before I start with the discussion, as you all know, first we'll quickly discuss the questions based on the previous day news. Here we go with the first question. पहला question पिछले क्लास से ये रहा आप सबके सामने. The question says, with the reference to NSIC, consider the following statement. NSIC was established in 1955. Its headquarter is in Bengaluru, Karnataka. Dr. S.S. Acharya is the current chairman and managing director. NSIC supports MSME through credit facility, marketing assistance, as well as skill development. The recent MOU which has been signed, it aligns with the G20 agenda for MSME finance. तो क्या आंसर होगा इस particular question का? If you remember, we have discussed about this particular organization in the previous session जब हमने बात की थी related to MSME, and during the discussion of MSME and private sector bank MOU which has been signed between NSIC and private sector banks, we talked about National Small Industries Corporation. So this National Small Industries Corporation was established in 1955. That is absolutely correct. If I talk about its status, it is Mini Ratan category 2. It is operating under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. If I talk about its more aspects, the more aspects include, so the headquarter of this organization is not in Bengaluru. Dr. S.S. Acharya is correct. NSIC, this part is correct. So only one statement which is wrong, that is regarding its headquarter. So you tell me guys, where is the headquarter? You tell me guys, where is the headquarter of NSIC? So NSIC headquarter is based in New Delhi. NSIC headquarter is in New Delhi itself. Mini Ratan category 2 PSU under the Ministry of MSME. That is a very important aspect which you need to remember. समझ आ गया? आगे बढ़े. चलिए अगले क्वेश्चन की ओर बढ़ते हैं. Next question says, which of the following recent developments are correctly matched with UPI advancements in 2025? UPI Lite X small value offline payments, yes. UPI tab, that is near field communication enabled contactless transactions, that is true. UPI Pay Now linkage, India Singapore cross border payments, UPI linked credit lines approved by RBI in say 2025, that is correct. UPI share in the value in 2019 was 62%. Was it 62%, guys, or was it more than that? Was it 62% or was it more than that? No sir, we are talking about 2019, 2019, कोविड से पहले याद करो. कोविड से पहले की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं 60% तो छोड़ो सर, इट वाज अराउंड 40%. तो यूपीआई का जो शेयर था दैट वाज अराउंड 40% बिफोर कोविड. ये तो कोविड आया उसके बाद कहीं ना कहीं इंपॉर्टेंस बढ़ी यूपीआई की. अदरवाइज फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. सो आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी 1 2 3 4 करेक्ट. फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट इज द इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Missing person and claim settlement. ये क्या point है? So this is the point if the person has not died but the person is missing. अगर person missing है लेकिन वो मे बी हैज डाइड और नॉट, दैट इज नॉट क्लियर, तो उस केस में रिकवरी कैसे होगी, उस केस में हाउ द एसेट और हाउ द डिपॉजिट्स कैन बी क्लेम्ड. सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ डेथ is governed by Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam section 110 and 111. That is absolutely correct. There is no harm in this particular statement. This statement is correct. Second point says bank may settle the claim even without none. That is not possible. That is not possible. Court order चाहिए, FIR चाहिए और non traceable report चाहिए from the police, then only claim will be given. So claim up to the bank defined threshold can be settled with FIR, non-traceable report, indemnity bond and court order. Earlier जब ये नया जो aspect आया है in 2025, इससे पहले there was a requirement to wait for 7 years before presumption of death has been relaxed. तो पहले presumption of death का टर्म नहीं था, तो 7 साल तक, अगर आज कोई गुम हुआ और आज आपने उसकी FIR कराई तो 7 साल तक आपको वेट करना होगा, तब जाकर आप उनके डिपॉजिट्स, उनके फंड्स को विड्रॉ कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम द बैंक. दैट इज करेक्ट. लेकिन अब जैसे ही नॉन ट्रेसेबल रिपोर्ट आपको मिली पुलिस से, आपने FIR, नॉन ट्रेसेबल रिपोर्ट, इंडेमनिटी बॉन्ड सबमिट किया, आपका काम हो जाएगा. फॉर क्लेम्स अबव थ्रेशोल्ड प्रोबेट और सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट इज मैंडेटरी इन ऑल केसेस. क्या ये सिनेरियो है, क्या ये सिनेरियो है कि हर केस में प्रोबेट या सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट की रिक्वायरमेंट है? नहीं सर. इवन अबव थ्रेशोल्ड हर बार आपके पास सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट हो ये जरूरी नहीं है. सो आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी 1, 3, 4 आर करेक्ट. That is absolutely the correct answer. Those who have given the correct answer, very good. And जिन्होंने D option answer दिया है 1, 3, 5, they are incorrect. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. कुणाल, पल्लू चेक कर लो एक बार. आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी 1, 3, 4. अगला क्वेश्चन देखो. Authentication of proof of death the individual who is residing abroad. So apostille under Hague Convention is an accepted mode. Yes sir, it is an accepted mode. That is absolutely correct. Verification by the officials of the overseas branches of the Indian bank is acceptable. हाँ जी सर, जो भी आपके इंडिया के बैंक की ब्रांचेस आउटसाइड द कंट्री, वहां से जो ऑफिशियल्स हैं वो बताए जाकर देखकर कि इंडिविजुअल की डेथ हो चुकी है, जी हो चुकी है. उसके बाद अगर हम अगली बात पे बात करें सर, कंफर्मेशन फ्रॉम द इंडियन एम्बेसी, that is also included. Yes sir, that is also included. Self attestation by nominee or legal here in case of abroad death. अगर किसी इंडिविजुअल की डेथ, मान लो एक इंडिविजुअल है, ही इज रिजाइडिंग इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, उनका अकाउंट है इंडिया में, अब उस अकाउंट को क्लेम करना, और ये हम कह रहे हैं कि जो इंडिविजुअल अब्रॉड में उनकी डेथ हो चुकी है, तो उस केस में the nominee or the legal here, if they are giving the self attested form and they are saying that he has passed away, it won't be accepted. अटेस्टेशन बाय द फॉरेन कोर्ट मजिस्ट्रेट एंड जज इज वैलिड. बिल्कुल सर, अगर फॉरेन कोर्ट के जज ने या मजिस्ट्रेट ने उसे एक्सेप्ट किया, उसे अटेस्ट किया कि यस द पर्सन हैज बीन डेड, देन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस ए ऑप्शन इज एब्सोल्युटली द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है जी, समझ आ गया पॉइंट. इफ इट इज क्लियर जस्ट गिव मी यस सर. इफ इट इज क्लियर जस्ट गिव मी यस सर सो दैट आई कैन मूव अहेड. चलिए आगे बढ़े. आर वी रेडी? शैल वी मूव अहेड? आई होप वी आर रेडी गाइज. शैल वी मूव अहेड? ओके, चलो. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गाइज, वेन एवर वी टॉक अबाउट अ बैंक, मैं बताऊंगा मेरी न्यूज क्या है, उस पर मैं बात करूंगा. वेन एवर वी टॉक अबाउट अ बैंक or other financial institutes like NBFCs which are involved in providing finance or funds to the borrower, in that particular case, whenever there is a scenario of giving a loan, this is considered as in the two forms. One we call it as fund-based lending, and the other one we call it as non-fund based lending. Now the question is, sir, in दोनों में क्या difference है? Try to understand. Guys, see, you approach to the bank and you ask the bank, sir, I want to purchase a car, and in order to purchase a car, bank gave you the loan amount, and you use that check and you give that check to the seller, और seller को check देकर आप गाड़ी घर ले आए. सो इस केस में बैंक ने लोन दिया, बैंक ने प्रैक्टिकल फॉर्मेट पर फंड्स को फ्लो किया, सो इट इज अ फंड बेस्ड लेंडिंग. एंड इफ इट इज अ फंड बेस्ड लेंडिंग, it will come in the bank's balance sheet exposure. It will be the part of bank's balance sheet exposure. That means it will come in the category of bank's asset, क्योंकि बैंक ने लोन दिया और इस asset पे बैंक will look into the process of risk, और अगर risk है, for that particular risk bank will maintain the reserves which we call it as capital adequacy ratio. So while calculating the capital adequacy ratio, this asset will be considered, this risk value will be considered, and while calculating the RWA, this asset related risk is also included. समझ आई ये बात. दूसरा फंडा क्या है? दूसरा फंडा है कि मैं बैंक के पास गया, मैंने SBI से कहा SBI मुझे कुछ पैसा, मुझे आपकी मदद चाहिए. SBI ने कहा बताओ कितना लोन चाहिए. कहता नहीं सर लोन नहीं चाहिए. एक्चुअली लोन के लिए तो आई हैव ऑलरेडी got the approval from HDFC that HDFC will give me the loan, but HDFC is bit reluctant in giving the loan, so they want that someone on my behalf should provide a guarantee. And if SBI is providing a guarantee, in this case of guarantee, SBI is not providing any kind of fund. So if SBI is not providing any kind of fund, so it will not come in the category of, or it will not be the part of balance sheet exposure. So it will not be included in the balance sheet of the bank. And if it is not included in the balance sheet of the bank, against this, no reserves, against this, no credit provisioning is done. Against this, no credit provisioning is done. And against this, non-fund based assistance provided by the bank or lending provided by the bank, no risk value is calculated and it won't be the part of capital adequacy ratio. तो अगर आप ध्यान से सोचो, SBI is in a win-win situation. कैसे? SBI ने लोन भी नहीं दिया, फिर भी SBI is earning the charges from the individual, first benefit. And secondly, if in near future ये जो इंडिविजुअल है, दिस इंडिविजुअल डू नॉट पे बैक द लोन टू HDFC, then only SBI will be responsible, then only SBI will be responsible, or SBI will be exposed to the current scenario, exposed to the current borrowing value. समझ आई ये बात? So this type of facility, this type of service which is provided, this type of service which is basically provided by the bank, we call it as non-fund based services. We call it as what? So we call it as non-fund based services. Clear हुई ये बात? अब क्वेश्चन क्या था, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? सो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इंडिया में वी हैव बैंक्स, वी हैव NBFCs, and banks as well as NBFCs, they are providing non-fund based services to the customer, and against these non-fund based services there are no standard norms. So in order to come up with the standardized norms plus standardized procedures, standardized conditions, RBI has come up with a new guideline, and RBI named that new guideline as Reserve Bank of India non-fund based credit facility directions 2025. Non-fund based credit guarantee directions 2025. Yes Bhasha, that is absolutely correct. कि हुआ क्या, एक individual, I'll take an example again, एक individual है A, this individual A is trying to borrow the loan from bank HDFC or from NBFC, let's say Muthoot Finance. लेकिन Muthoot Finance is saying that we will provide you the loan only if you will give us the guarantee of someone whom I can trust. तो A गया बैंक के पास, let's say A गया SBI के पास, और A ने SBI को कहा SBI यार मैं आपका पुराना कस्टमर हूँ, I have borrowed loan from you in the past, my loan is going appropriate and even I have a FD with you, I hope you can trust me, so I want you that you should give me, or you should guarantee me, in front of mutual finance, in front of Muthoot Finance, and you come up with a statement that if in near future A do not pay back, then at place of A, the entire exposure, the entire loss, the entire outstanding amount will be paid by SBI to the Muthoot Finance, and this service is provided against charges, as well as sometimes sometimes SBI may even ask individual A to come up with certain collateral so that SBI can trust A. So that SBI can trust A. समझ आई बात? क्लियर हो गया? तो ये जो सर्विस प्रोवाइड की गई है जिसमें पैसा नहीं दिया, सिर्फ और सिर्फ जुबान दी, जिसमें पैसा नहीं दिया, सिर्फ और सिर्फ जुबान दी, जिसमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रॉमिस किया कि भैया फ्यूचर में अगर मेरे क्लाइंट ने, मेरे इंडिविजुअल ने जिसकी मैं गारंटी ले रहा हूं, अगर उसने आपको पैसा नहीं दिया, देन आई विल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू पे यू दी अमाउंट. ठीक है, अब यहां पर वी हैव सर्टेन टर्म्स विच यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. फर्स्ट वन, ए जो है, टेक्निकली ए इज कॉल्ड एज बेनिफिशियरी. So who is beneficiary? So beneficiary is the one to whom guarantee is provided. So in our example, guarantee is provided to A. So A will become the beneficiary. Second point is who is the guarantor? If I talk about the guarantor, sir, SBI in my example is the guarantor. SBI in my example is the guarantor. And the next point is party whose obligation is backed by NFB is in guarantees the principal debtor. So in that particular case, beneficiary, or we can even call it as obligator, or it is also known as obligor. So beneficiary or obligor is the same. So beneficiary in whose favor NFB, that is non-fund based credit facility, is issued, and obligor is the party whose obligation is backed by NFB कि भैया इनका जो obligation है, I am backing it up, I will be paying on his behalf. क्लियर हो गया पॉइंट? समझ आ गया? ये पॉइंट अच्छा है, ये पॉइंट ज्यादा अच्छा है कि सर इससे अच्छा एसबीआई से लोन ले लो. पॉइंट आपका ठीक है धनंजय, लेकिन एसबीआई का जो लेंडिंग रेट है दैट इज प्रीटी हाई इन कंपैरिजन टू मुथूट फाइनेंस. मुथूट फाइनेंस इज रेडी टू गिव अ लोन एट 8% per annum. SBI is giving a loan at 12% per annum. So in that particular case, customer is not willing to borrow the loan from SBI. That is the first case. Second case is in case of borrowing from Muthoot Finance, it is bit easy in terms of the documentation, in terms of the demand, in terms of the requirement which is need to be fulfilled. In case of NBFC, they are pretty low in comparison to the bank's requirement. So again, A will prefer Muthoot Finance. But on the other side, if Muthoot Finance is not agreeing to give a loan without guarantee, then this guarantee will be given by SBI. And why SBI will give this guarantee? Because of business. कि भैया आपको तो पैसा कमाना है, लोन देकर कमाओ या बिना लोन दिए कमाओ, चार्जेस तो आपको लेने ही है. अब आप मेरी गारंटी दे दो, मैं आपको चार्जेस दे दूंगा. SBI हैप्पी है. ऑब्वियसली SBI के जो चार्जेस है दैट विल बी लेस इन कंपैरिजन टू द लेंडिंग रेट व्हिच SBI विल चार्ज, बिकॉज देयर विल बी एन एक्चुअल फ्लो ऑफ फंड्स. और यहाँ पे एक्चुअल फ्लो ऑफ फंड्स तो है ही नहीं, यहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ इट्स अ गारंटी व्हिच विल बी पेएबल एट द टाइम ऑफ डिफॉल्ट, एंड दैट टू इन द नियर फ्यूचर. समझ आया धनंजय? इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? Is this point clear? Who is beneficiary or obligor? That is clear. Who is guarantor? I hope that is also clear to you. I hope that is also clear to you. ठीक है जी, समझ आ गई बात है? मुझे लगता है यहां तक कोई दिक्कत, कोई परेशानी होगी. चलो अब थोड़ा पढ़ लेते हैं. So RBI is unifying the rules for non-fund based facilities, for example guarantees, letter of credit, co-acceptance across banks, NBFCs as well as all India financial institutes, opening up partial credit enhancement so more kind of regulated entities can help companies including infrastructure and municipal bodies raise cheaper bond funding. कैसे होगा कैसे नहीं, I'll discuss that. Draft was issued on 9th of April 2025 for public feedback, and after the public feedback, finally in August, the final guidelines have been issued, and these guidelines are expected to be implemented either from 1st of April 2026 or maybe before 1st of April 2026 as decided by regulated entity. Now, this is very important. So this particular norm or these guidelines, they are applicable on, please pay attention. So they are applicable on all the commercial banks, which include RRBs, local area banks. They are applicable on urban cooperative banks. Even they are applicable on state cooperative banks, central cooperative banks, all India financial institutes like NABARD, EXIM, SEBI, all of them are included. Even these guidelines are applicable on NBFCs as well as housing finance companies, but these guidelines for NBFCs and housing finance companies are applicable only on those NBFCs, only on those housing finance companies which fall either in the middle layer or which fall in the upper layer. I hope you remember middle, base layer, upper layer, base layer, middle layer, upper layer, top layer. So if an NBFC is in base layer, then this guideline will not be applicable, which means they may or may not provide the guarantee. But if an NBFC falls in the category of middle layer or upper layer, even if it is an housing finance company falls in the category of middle layer or upper layer, then they can enjoy the non-fund based credit facility directions which has been presented on the screen. But in case of NBFCs, they cannot provide guarantee. NBFCs cannot provide guarantee. They cannot provide letter of credit. They cannot provide co-acceptance service. They can only provide one service, which we call it as PCE. I will be discussing this. This is known as partial credit enhancement. Sir, if the borrower can't pay the loan, then SBI pay the amount. So why SBI don't keep some reserves provisions? See, the point is when SBI has given the actual loan, then only that actual loan is included in the category of asset. But now you have not given loan, you have just given a guarantee. So it becomes non-balance sheet item because this is not even mentioned in your balance sheet. Is this point clear now? Is this point clear? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. But this doesn't mean that bank will not maintain capital adequacy ratio against it. I will be discussing it. It's just an initial introduction. अभी पक्के मत हो जाओ, सोच के ये मत बैठ जाओ कि इसके बदले में कुछ मेंटेन करना ही नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. When you will be giving the guarantee, you will be maintaining it, and I will be discussing the norms how you have to maintain it. Done? Clear हो गया? चल. So whenever we talk about RWA component, it includes the on-balance sheet items as well as it includes the off-balance sheet items. So bank guarantees, they are off-balance sheet exposures. They are included in CAR after applying the credit conversion factor and assigning the risk weights. So abhi ke liye, I'm just giving you an example in this form that without giving loan, without actually giving loan, you are earning the profits. That is the reason it is a beneficial situation, but that doesn't mean you will not be keeping the guarantee, you will not be maintaining the reserves, you will not be maintaining the provisioning. That is not the case. I'm just saying the provisioning, as much as provisioning you are maintaining against actual loan, that will not be the case in case of guarantee wala segment. I will be discussing it in some time. Give me some time so that I can come to that point in a much detailed manner. ठीक है? Clear हो गया ना? चलो. Now, moving on to the next point after the applicability wala side. After the applicability wala side, as I said, fund-based and non-fund-based credit facilities which are provided. So remember that risk to bank, credit risk from day one, but these are basically the contingent liabilities. I will be giving you the realistic answers to this in a very short time. Don't worry. Now come back to the point that this particular direction is going to be applicable. So this particular direction कब से applicable होगी? So this direction will be applicable from 1st of April 2026. New or renewed non-fund based credit facility after effective date must follow these directions, that is 1st of April 2026. Now if I talk about the parties involved, beneficiary जिसके बदले में, in whose favor the NFB is issued, co-acceptance of bills. I'll discuss with you what is co-acceptance of bill. You have to hold it. Guarantee has been discussed, obligor has been discussed, secured portion, part covered by realistic value of tangible security or collateral. What does it mean? It means that individual A reaches to the bank and seek bank guarantee, and against the bank guarantee of let's say 10 lakh rupees, against the bank guarantee of let's say 10 lakh rupees, A has given 5 lakh rupees of its collateral as security. So this 5 lakh rupees which is given as collateral, as security to the bank, this will be termed as secured portion. So what is the secured portion of your guarantee? So 50% of your guarantee is secured and 50% of your guarantee is unsecured. ठीक है जी. अब हम बात करेंगे co-acceptance of bills and second we'll talk about guarantee. अब इन दोनों में क्या difference है? If I talk about these two terms, please pay attention. The first point which I would start my discussion is guarantee. मैंने आपको बता दिया, A गया मुथूट फाइनेंस के पास लोन लेने और लोन के बदले में गारंटी चाहिए थी, तो ए गया एसबीआई के पास और एसबीआई ने गारंटी दे दी. द मोमेंट एसबीआई हैज गिवन द गारंटी, the moment SBI has given the guarantee, against that guarantee Muthoot Finance will provide the loan. And if in near future A do not pay back the loan, then in that particular scenario Muthoot Finance will receive the entire outstanding value of loan from SBI. The entire outstanding value of loan from SBI, this is known as what? So this is known as guarantee. This is known as what? So this is known as guarantee. दूसरा point क्या है कि सर there is an individual A, ठीक है, and this individual A is a manufacturer. This individual A is a manufacturer, and manufacturer is buying raw material from XYZ. Manufacturer is buying raw material from XYZ company. अब जब पैसा देने की बारी आई तो A ने कहा कि सर I will make you the payment in the near future and I have a bill, and this bill is a co-accepted bill, which means if in near future I will not pay back your bill amount as per the desired date, then you can clear this bill from the bank, that is SBI. So SBI is giving you co-acceptance on the bill, which means for this particular bill, not for the entire liabilities, only for this specific bill. If A is not in a position to pay back, if A breaches the timeline to make the payment, then the payment will be done by SBI. That is known as co-acceptance of bill. That is known as co-acceptance of bill. Is this point clear? शिवानी, मैंने अभी इस बात का आंसर दिया कि आप बैंक से लोन क्यों नहीं लेना चाह रहे, क्योंकि बैंक का लेंडिंग रेट ज्यादा है और आप म्यूचुअल फंड से लोन ले रहे हो या फिर आप मुथूट फाइनेंस से लोन ले रहे हो क्योंकि इसका लेंडिंग रेट कम है. और आपने जब लोन लिया तो आपने सिक्योरिटी दी, लेकिन सिक्योरिटी देने के बावजूद उनको लगा कि नहीं अभी और सिक्योरिटी की जरूरत है या और गारंटी की जरूरत है, तो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस यू कैन गो टू द बैंक, सीक द गारंटी, एंड दैट गारंटी विल हेल्प यू टू बोरो द फंड्स फ्रॉम मुथूट फाइनेंस एज पर योर विल, एज पर योर रिक्वायरमेंट. दैट इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट. क्लियर हुआ पॉइंट? इफ इट इज क्लियर गिव मी यस सर. नाउ सी co-acceptance of bills. Ensure payment to the seller if buyer defaults. That means यहाँ बैंक promise कर रहा है that I'll pay amount to XYZ if A defaults to pay. But here ensure beneficiaries get performance or payments if obligor fails. तो यहाँ पे क्या आ गया सर? यहाँ पे आ गया कि जो beneficiary है यानी कि XYZ है, जो कि XYZ है, he will get the payment if A, that is the obligor, fails to pay. अगर obligor फेल कर जाता है पे करने के लिए, तो उस केस में जिसके नाम पर ये गारंटी है, जिसको गारंटी दी है, जो कि हमारा XYZ, जो कि हमारी बेनिफिशियरी है, उसको पेमेंट, पूरी की पूरी पेमेंट कौन करेगा? आपका बैंक करेगा. ठीक है जी. अगला पॉइंट, ऑब्लिगेशन टाइप अंडरटेकिंग टाइड टू ट्रेड बिल ओनली. तो ये जो को एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ बिल है सर, इट इज ओनली एंड ओनली रिलेटेड टू ट्रेड बिल, लेकिन जो गारंटी है दैट इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल कमिटमेंट दैट कैन बी फॉर एनी एस्पेक्ट. हियर buying default on trade payment date, beneficiary invokes guarantee upon obligor's default. तो जब भी obligor default करेगा आपको पे करना होगा, और जब यहाँ पर date on which you were supposed to make the payment, if you have not paid the bill, then that bill will be discounted, that bill will be cleared from the bank as per the tie-up. It's a joint liability via acceptance signature. Here we have the third party liability. इसका मतलब क्या सर? A और SBI दोनों के दोनों jointly they are responsible to pay the bill payment, but here only and only bank is responsible to pay if A is not in a position to make the payment. So this is how we define co-acceptance as well as guarantee. अगर co-acceptance और guarantee clear है तो एक बार yes sir type कर दो. If A gives 10 lakhs, then obviously the charges of the guarantee will fall down. In that particular case, charges of the guarantee will fall down. यशु, आज अगर charges 10 लाख के बदले में 10,000 है, अगर security बढ़ गई तो 5,000 हो जाएंगे. Charges will fall down because now the loan is more secured, so there are less possibility of loss. तो जो possibility of loss कम होगा, तो उस केस में आपके जो charges हैं, that will decrease. ठीक है? I will hold this. I will come this I'll come back to this slide in the end. So I'm holding it. Don't worry. Moving on to the next point. Now the first point is, so what are the conditions whenever a guarantee is provided by a regulated entity? So whenever a guarantee or a counter guarantee, what is counter guarantee? So let's suppose there is a bank named SBI. SBI has given guarantee on the behalf of XYZ, on the behalf of XYZ. So XYZ is obligor, and on his behalf, guarantee is given to his lender, and his lender is HDFC. So HDFC will become the beneficiary. HDFC will become the beneficiary. In that particular case, if SBI feel the heat कि भैया अगर कल को XYZ ने पैसा नहीं दिया तो what will I do? SBI can get guarantee from the third party. Let's say it is PNB. Let's say it is PNB. So when you get guarantee against your guarantee, when you get guarantee against your guarantee, that is known as counter guarantee. So guarantees or counter guarantees, they are unconditional, they are irrevocable. अगर एक बार साइन कर दिया, अगर एक बार बिना कंडीशन, एक बार अगर आपने गारंटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट पे साइन कर दिया, सो बिना किसी कंडीशन के, बिना किसी नॉर्म के, यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल to implement it. You are responsible to honor it with a clear no changing honoring mechanism. So this is the first point. The moment you sign a guarantee or counter guarantee contract, you cannot step back. Second point is regulated entity must set aggregate as well as individual ceilings with specific small bank caps for urban cooperative bank, regional rural bank, local area bank, state cooperative bank, central cooperative bank. Total guarantees should be less than or equals to 5% of their total asset, and unsecured guarantees can be less than or equals to 1.25% if in breach at notification meet threshold by 1st April 2027. इस पॉइंट का मतलब समझिएगा जरा, इस पॉइंट का मतलब समझिएगा, इजी है, देयर इज नो रॉकेट साइंस इन दिस. ये क्या कह रहा है? ये कह रहा है कि सर अगर आप बात करते हैं आरआरबी की, ठीक, या फिर स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक की, या फिर स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक की, सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, आरआरबी, स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक, एज वेल एज लोकल एरिया बैंक्स, अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स, इन ऑल दीज केसेस ये जो बैंक्स हैं, they can provide a guarantee. Undoubtedly they are allowed to provide a guarantee, but how much guarantee they can provide? So they can provide guarantee up to 5% of total asset, up to 5% of total asset. और इस 5% में भी, ये जो 5% है उसमें भी up to 1.25% of total asset should be unsecured, and 5% में at least 3.75% of total asset should be secured guarantee. अगर 5% का आप जो लिमिट है उसे पूरा कर रहे हैं तो. Is this point clear guys? Is this point clear? Give me yes sir. देख लो एक बार, कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो, else I'll move ahead. It's very easy, इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. उम्मीद करता हूं कि समझ आ रहा होगा. ठीक है, इन शॉर्ट बताता हूँ। इन शॉर्ट का मतलब ये है कि अगर यू आर पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक, फॉरेन बैंक or private sector bank, in that particular case there is no norm, there is no capping. But in case of RRB, small finance bank, state cooperative bank, central cooperative bank, local area bank, urban cooperative bank, how much guarantee the bank can provide? Let's say the bank's total asset is 1000 crore, then bank can provide maximum guarantee of 50 crores only. And out of that maximum guarantee of 50 crore, which is 5%, unsecured guarantee can be only 1.25%. So that could be 12.5 crores only. This is the maximum limit. इसके नीचे it's fine, but you cannot go beyond this as per the latest guideline which has been given by RBI. अब let's suppose today, or let's say on 1st of April 2016, 2026, if NBFC or bank do not fulfill this criteria, then they should fulfill these norms, I would say they should fulfill these norms, they should fulfill these targets by 1st of April 2027. तो मोटा मोटा आपको एक साल का समय मिलेगा अगर आपकी रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी, अगर आप 1st of April 2026 से implement कर रहे, if you are implementing it before that, then you will get time more than 1 year as well. E-guarantees. E-guarantees means the guarantees which are provided on e-platform where there is no flow of physical documents. So if the issuing electronic guarantees maintain an SOP, standard operating procedure, which will minimize the manual steps, ensure platform integration, audit trails, etc., so that an appropriate e-guarantee service can be provided. Very important, no guarantee favoring another regulated entity for a funded facility except trade related. What does it means? Please pay attention. What does it means? Please pay attention. No guarantees favoring another regulated entity for a funded facility. अब let's suppose एक regulated entity दूसरी regulated entity को उसके द्वारा दिए गए लोन के केस में गारंटी नहीं देगा. इसका एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं ताकि ये पॉइंट आपको और अच्छे से समझ आ जाए. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज, गाइस, लेट्स से स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, लेट्स से पीएनबी एंड लेट्स से अडानी. सो अडानी जी पीएनबी के पास पहुंचे और पीएनबी से लोन लिया और पीएनबी से कहा कि सर मुझे लोन चाहिए, आई ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू बिल्ड अ हाउस लाइक अंबानी जी. So he came here for home loan. So against this home loan, PNB will be receiving the EMIs along with principal as well as interest. Now PNB is bit dicey. PNB is bit dicey. PNB is feeling that if in near future Adani do not pay back, then what will happen? So in that particular case, PNB went to SBI और SBI से कहा, SBI क्या आप मुझे गारंटी दोगे, क्या आप मुझे इस लोन के अगेंस्ट मुझे गारंटी दोगे? तो आगे से एसबीआई ने क्या कहा, सॉरी. एसबीआई ने कहा सॉरी सर, आई कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड गारंटी अगेंस्ट द लेंडिंग डन बाय यू, but I can provide you with the guarantee facility if the loan is provided for trade purpose. If the loan is provided for trade purpose, let's suppose if loan is given to Adani for trading purpose, अगर लोन दिया गया अडानी जी को फॉर ट्रेडिंग पर्पस, then that trading purpose loan can be guaranteed by SBI, and in this case who is going to be the beneficiary? So this beneficiary will be PNB, और PNB जाएगा और कहेगा कि मेरे इस लोन को आप क्या करो, गारंटी प्रोवाइड करो. Is this point clear? Is this point clear? If it is clear, just give me yes sir. ये बहुत ही important point है. It says that no guarantee favoring another regulated entity. That means if SBI is providing guarantee to PNB for a funded facility, जो उन्होंने लोन दिया है वो पॉसिबल नहीं है, एक्सेप्ट अगर वो एक ट्रेड रिलेटेड लोन है तो. काउंटर गारंटीज फॉर नॉन फंड बेस्ड क्रेडिट फैसिलिटीज आर अलाउड. गारंटर एक्सपोजर इज ऑन ऑब्लिगर एंड लेंडिंग रेगुलेटेड. ये तो मैंने आपको बताया कि काउंटर गारंटी भी अलाउड है. आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड यू. Timely honoring of invocation unless restrained by court order. तो जो भी आपके गारंटी एस्पेक्ट्स है वो आपको फुलफिल करने होंगे एज पर द टाइमलाइन. एंड इफ द गारंटर डू नॉट पे at the time of default, then obviously court will get involved and court will come up with the orders, and under that order you have to complete the points, or you have to complete the contract, or you have to obligate the contract which you have signed for obligation. ठीक है जी. तो यहाँ पे आपको क्या क्या चीजें याद रखनी होंगी. सबसे पहली चीज जो यहाँ पे आपको याद रखनी है, which is really very important, please pay attention. I'll just write it down for you. Let me remove my image. Hanji, what I'm trying to say over here is, I'm trying to say regulated entity issues guarantee to another, issues guarantee to another regulated entities for fund-based credit, for fund-based credit to the customer, I would say not allowed. तो अगर अडानी को आपने लोन दिया अडानी को, तो उस केस में अलाउड नहीं है कि आप गारंटी ले सको दूसरे बैंक से जाकर. दैट इज नॉट अलाउड. लेकिन हाँ, ये अलाउड होगा अगर जो लोन लिया गया दैट इज फॉर ट्रेड पर्पस. ठीक है जी. अब रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी 1 can provide guarantee to regulated entity 2. Yes sir, that is allowed. Yes sir, that is allowed. And this is basically allowed if the loan is given for the trade purpose, or regulated entity itself has given a guarantee. अगर regulated entity ने खुद guarantee दी है और उसी guarantee को आप guarantee दे रहे हैं, तो उसका मतलब क्या है? that is counter guarantee. उसका मतलब क्या हो गया? दैट इज काउंटर गारंटी. बोलो समझ आया. और अब काउंटर गारंटी के केस में हु इज द ऑब्लिगर? सर, ऑब्लिगर इज गोइंग टू बी दिस इंडिविजुअल. Obligor is going to be this individual and beneficiary is going to be the same. Clear हो गया पॉइंट? समझ आ गया? तो काउंटर गारंटी अलाउड है, गारंटी किस केस में अलाउड है? सर, गारंटी अलाउड है अगर आपने लोन दिया फंड बेस्ड और वो लोन ट्रेड पर्पस के लिए दिया तो गारंटी अलाउड है. अगर आपने गारंटी दी है तो गारंटी पे गारंटी अलाउड है, फिर चाहे वो लोन किसी भी पर्पस के लिए दिया हो, दैट इज काउंटर गारंटी. तो यहां गारंटी किसी भी पर्पस के लिए, गारंटी पे गारंटी तो अलाउड है, लेकिन लोन पे गारंटी अलाउड नहीं है. लोन पे गारंटी सिर्फ अलाउड है अगर लोन कौन सा लोन है? दैट इज अ ट्रेड बेस्ड लोन, या फिर लोन लिया गया फॉर द ट्रेड पर्पस. क्लियर होगी ये बात? समझ आ गया? नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज related to co-acceptance bills. So co-acceptance, in this case only genuine trade bills verify goods reach borrower's stock. So what is this? So this is basically co-acceptance will be provided by the bank. कैसे? A ने goods खरीदे XYZ कंपनी से, और XYZ कंपनी ने अपना बिल दिया कि भैया पेमेंट दे दो. तो उस बिल के बदले में ए ने कहा कि सर अभी मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, बट आई along with SBI we accept that we are liable to pay you the payment and we will be making the payment after 3 months. If I don't pay, then you can go to SBI with the same bill and SBI will make you the payment. So SBI will provide this co-acceptance. SBI will sign this bill along with A that I will pay on the behalf of A if A do not pay back, only if the bill is genuine, only if the goods reach to A, only after the goods reach to A. Maintain customer wise records, include internal audits, do not accept bills drawn by another regulated entity or where buyer or seller already gotten regulated entity funding that underlying trade. So what does it mean? Sir, this means that ये genuine आपको समझ आ गया? ये वाला genuine केस तो समझ आ गया. अब इसमें एक और केस हो सकता है जिसमें ये चीज अलाउड नहीं है. वो केस क्या हो सकता है वो मैं आपको समझा रहा हूं. उसको समझ लेते हैं वो केस क्या है. सो द केस इज, लेट्स सपोज ए, ठीक है, ए ने क्या किया, ए ने XYZ से रॉ मटेरियल खरीदा, ठीक है, और उस रॉ मटेरियल के बदले में जब बिल देने की बारी आई, सो दिस बिल was co-accepted by SBI, and this is known as co-acceptance only after the raw material reaches to A. In second condition, A has purchased goods from ABC, and the moment A has purchased these goods from ABC, then against these goods A again went to SBI, that come SBI will sign or will come up with a co-acceptance bill that on my behalf you will pay in the near future. SBI said, okay, I'm ready. But SBI, when SBI was auditing, SBI realized that for purchasing the goods from ABC, A has already borrowed loan from SDFC. तो जब आपने लोन ऑलरेडी लिया है SDFC थे, तो उसी लोन से पैसा पे करो ना, उसी लोन से अपना बिल पे करो. उस केस में SBI आपको कोई एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं देगा. सो व्हाट डज इट मींस? पे अटेंशन. इट सेज दैट नो एक्सेप्टेंस बिल्स drawn by another regulated entity or where buyer or seller already gotten regulated entity funding for that underlying trade. तो अगर उस underlying trade के लिए you have already received the borrowings, you have already received the funding, or you have already received co-acceptance from one regulated entity, then the another regulated entity will not provide you with the co-acceptance. Second point is the special cases. What does this special cases mean? So it says that authorized dealer category banks may issue guarantees for bona fide current or capital account transactions, for bona fide current or capital account transaction, which means that the guarantees can be provided by authorized dealer category 1, and this category 1 includes only bank. They can provide guarantee to the ट्रांजेक्शंस विच आर करंट अकाउंट ट्रांजेक्शन. करंट अकाउंट का मतलब वो करंट अकाउंट जो हम वी आर डूइंग विद रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, विच इंक्लूड इंपोर्ट्स, विच इंक्लूड एक्सपोर्ट्स, which include remittances, which include flow of profit, flow of salary, flow of grants, aids. They all are the part of current account transactions. So that means authorized dealer category 1 can provide guarantee against import exports, or against current account as well as capital account transactions. Overseas or step down subsidiary cases are allowed with a counter guarantee or collateral from the Indian group, except for raising loan in ordinary course overseas. So what is this? So if let's say there is a foreign company, or this foreign company is seeking guarantee from authorized dealer category 1, so they can provide guarantee even to the foreign company if the foreign company is owned by Indian company. If the foreign company is owned by Indian company, it is a subsidiary of Indian company, and in that particular case collateral will be given by Indian company, and against this collateral given by Indian company, guarantee can be provided against the foreign company as well, but only by the authorized dealer category 1. Stock or commodity exchanges, only scheduled commercial banks can issue guarantee on the behalf of brokers regarding security deposit margins as per exchange norms and RBI rules. So what does it say? So let's suppose there is a stockbroker, and this stockbroker wants to trade on a national stock exchange, on business, on let's say Bombay Stock Exchange. So Bombay Stock Exchange says, if you want to trade on our exchange, you have to deposit 10 crore rupees as a surety, as a guarantee, because in case of any kind of malpractices done by you in the near future, we will use that 10 crore rupees to overcome the losses. So in that particular case, stockbroker, rather than giving 10 crore rupees in cash and lying its or letting its cash to be lied useless with the stock exchange, what will stockbroker do? Stockbroker can reach to only and only scheduled commercial bank, and scheduled commercial bank will provide the guarantee, and this guarantee provided to the stock exchange will allow stockbroker to make the transactions, but up to what value of guarantees can be accepted, that all rules will be different, that will be different rules, that will be different obligations for the stock exchange. तो stock exchange के ऊपर है वो कितना guarantee लेगा, किस किस stock broker से guarantee लेगा, that was a very different story, but yes, this guarantee can be provided, that is allowed. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया. Now moving on to the next point. The next point talks about partial credit enhancement. Now the question is, so what do you understand by the word partial credit enhancement? And NBFCs, they can provide only and only partial credit enhancement service only. They cannot provide guarantee, they cannot provide letter of credit, they cannot provide co-acceptance bills. Now in this particular case, in order to understand this point, I'll take a simple example. एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल लेते हैं जिससे आपको समझ आ जाए कि ये क्रेडिट एनहांसमेंट का मतलब क्या है, क्योंकि ये पार्शियल क्रेडिट एनहांसमेंट को समझना काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर ये क्लियर नहीं होगा तो एनबीएफसी से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आएगा, सो यू वोंट बी इन अ पोजीशन टू आंसर इट. सो प्लीज पे अटेंशन गाइस, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. This is going to be very interesting. So what is the meaning of partial credit enhancement? So if this question is asked anytime to you, your answer to this particular question would be loud and clear in this manner. Let's suppose, I'll take an example. So let's say NTPC is in need of funds. NTPC is in need of funds. So in that particular case, what happens? Sir, NTPC decided to issue bonds of value 1000 crores. NTPC decided that I will be issuing bonds of value 1000 crores. The moment NTPC decided to issue these bonds in the market, public or the investors, they come up with a question that, sir, we will invest in the bonds only if the credit rating is done. So then the credit rating of the bond is done, and the credit rating of the bond was A. We all know that highest rating is AAA, then we have AA, then we have A, then we have, and so on. Huh? So the credit rating is A. The moment credit rating is A, many of the investors, they said, sorry sir, we won't invest. Sorry sir, we won't invest because the credit rating is not appropriate. It is A. It is a good rating, but still we don't find it very promising and we won't invest in this. So in this particular case, what can NTPC do? NTPC will go to a bank, can go to a scheduled commercial bank, or can go to All India Financial Institute, or can go to an NBFC and ask them to provide credit enhancement facility. Ask them to provide credit enhancement facility. So credit enhancement facility basically means, or partial credit enhancement basically means NTPC will receive, let's say NTPC receives a partial credit enhancement of 2 crores, which means that SBI is ready to give 200 crore rupees of loan to NTPC against these bonds. SBI has given the promise. पैसा नहीं दिया SBI ने, सिर्फ प्रॉमिस किया है कि मैं आपके ये जो बॉन्ड है 1000 करोड़ के, मैं इसके बदले में आपको 200 करोड़ दे दूंगा. जैसे ये प्रॉमिस आया, SBI की ये गारंटी आई, भले पूरी नहीं, 100% नहीं, 20% ही सही, जैसी ये गारंटी मार्केट में आई, ऑटोमेटिकली ये जो क्रेडिट रेटिंग है, इट इम्प्रूव्ड टू AA. द मोमेंट दिस क्रेडिट रेटिंग इम्प्रूव टू AA और A+, इन्वेस्टर्स का इंटरेस्ट बढ़ गया. They were all demanding for the bonds. And secondly, earlier NTPC was issuing these bonds at 10%. The moment NTPC realized that now my bonds have gained credit rating, now the confidence in my bonds has increased because SBI has come up with partial credit enhancement and I have to give charges to SBI against that partial credit enhancement. Now I will provide interest of only 8%, and still investors are standing in the queue. Still investors are ready to purchase these bonds even at 8% because they know the risk has reduced. So this is what we call it as partial credit enhancement. So partial credit enhancement is a credit enhancement which is provided by the banks or NBFCs to improve the credit worthiness of the bonds, to improve the credit worthiness of a bond or a debt instruments which are issued by the borrower. Usually it is used by corporates. These kind of services are used by infrastructure companies. So why we call it as partial credit enhancement? Because bank guarantee will be provided for only a portion of the debt, generally 20, 30, 40 or 50%, not 100%, or it cannot be ever 100% value. Clear होगी ये बात? समझ आ गया? Any doubt till this point? Any doubt till this point? You may ask, please. Any doubt till this point? You may ask, please. So, scheduled commercial banks, all India financial institutes, NBFCs, they can provide partial credit enhancement. Bonds by corporates as well as special work purpose vehicles for any project type are eligible. Bonds by non-deposit taking NBFCs with asset size greater than 1000 crores, including HFCs, are included, are allowed. Even the Munni bonds, that is the municipal bonds, they are also allowed to receive partial credit enhancement. How it works? Partial credit enhancement is subordinated, irrevocable, कंटिंजेंट लाइन. कंटिंजेंट लाइन का मतलब क्या हुआ कि सर 1000 करोड़ के एनटीपीसी ने बॉन्ड्स इशू किए, उसके बदले में एसबीआई हैज प्रोवाइडेड 200 करोड़ ऑफ पीसीई. नाउ इफ इन नियर फ्यूचर at the time of paying the interest, if NTPC is not in a position to pay back the interest, then SBI will provide this 200 crores for the repayment of interest or maybe for the repayment of principal. But this amount which you are receiving, the amount which has been received by NTPC from SBI, that will be utilized only and only for the repayment of borrowings, for only and only for the refinance purposes. So it is a contingent line कि जब लगेगा cash flow shortfalls है, in that particular case from here the borrowings can be done. But it is a borrowing. It's not a eye closed guarantee. It's not a guarantee, it's just a borrowing. So NTPC ने एक तरफ अपनी बोरोइंग रीपे की और दूसरी तरफ वही बोरोइंग एनटीपीसी पे चढ़ गई. अब मान लो एनटीपीसी ने 200 करोड़ में से 150 करोड़ प्रिंसिपल वापस किया, 50 करोड़ इंटरेस्ट, तो अब एनटीपीसी के ऊपर जो 1000 करोड़ का लोन था वो तो है, उसके साथ साथ 50 करोड़ का लोन और चढ़ गया और टोटल लोन 1050 करोड़ का, जिसमें से 200 करोड़ का लोन, जिसमें से 200 करोड़ का लोन कौन देगा? 200 करोड़ का लोन किसे पे बैक करना होगा? एनटीपीसी को पे बैक करना होगा. किसे? एसबीआई को. क्लियर हुई ये बात? समझ आया तो गिव मी यस सर. सो सबऑर्डिनेटेड इररिवोकेबल कंटिंजेंट लाइन ड्रॉन ओनली इफ देयर इज अ कैश फ्लो शॉर्टफॉल. अगर शॉर्टफॉल है तभी अलाउड है, वरना अलाउड नहीं है. इन सर्विंग द बॉन्ड बूस्टिंग इट्स रेटिंग कैन बी रिवॉल्विंग एट regulated entities discretion. Full legal documentation among issuers, promoters, उसके साथ साथ partial credit enhancement providers, bond trustees, they all are involved in a legal tie-up under which this is signed. एक बार yes sir type कर दो, then I'll move ahead. Please type yes sir so that I can move ahead quickly. डन गाइस, ठीक है. अब अगला पॉइंट, अब जो आपको काफी देर से एक परेशानी थी, मैं वो परेशानी दूर कर दूं. एक बार बता दूं कि सर जब हम रिस्क की बात करते हैं, रिस्क इज इंक्लूडेड फॉर ऑन बैलेंस शीट एक्सपोजर एज वेल एज ऑफ बैलेंस शीट एक्सपोजर। तो दोनों ही एक्सपोजर्स के लिए कैलकुलेशंस की जाती है। डोंट टेक इट इन अ रॉन्ग वे विच यू वर टेकिंग इन द इनिशियल स्टेज कि भैया अगर बैंक ने गारंटी दी है तो उस गारंटी का बैंक के ऊपर जो रिस्क है वो जीरो है, ऐसा नहीं है। बैंक के ऊपर रिस्क है लेकिन उस रिस्क का पोटेंशियल कम है। क्यों कम है, कैसे कम है, आई विल मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस पॉइंट, प्लीज पे अटेंशन। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, लिमिट per regulated entity up to 50% of the bond size is the limit. So what is the limit? So per regulated entity up to 50% of the bond size and all regulated entity combined up to 50% of the bond size is the limit. अगर NTPC ने 1000 करोड़ का बॉन्ड इशू किया तो जो partial credit enhancement है that can be provided either by one or all the regulated entities up to 50%, that is up to 500 crores only, not above that. Partial credit enhancement cannot be given by way of a guarantee. It must be a contingent line. So it's not a guarantee कि भैया जब सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा तब मैं आऊंगा। नहीं नहीं नहीं, यहां खत्म होने ही नहीं देना। जिस दिन आपको लगे कि आपकी कंपनी जिसने बॉन्ड इशू किए हैं, it is not in a position to pay back the interest, it is not in a position to pay back the principal, then you should come in the picture. You give that amount for which you have already provided the promise. Regulated entities offering partial credit enhancement cannot invest in those partial credit enhancement enhanced bonds. Obviously, जिसके लिए आपने PCE दी है उसमें आप खुद इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते. It is eligible only if before providing the PCE your rating is BBB-. अगर आपके बॉन्ड की रेटिंग BBB- से कम है then PCE will not be provided, and this BBB- should be the minimum rating, and this should be or I would say the sample size should be at least 2 ratings given by 2 different rating agencies. ठीक है जी, अब यहां पर ध्यान से सुनिए, अब आया बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट। वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट क्या है वो ध्यान से सुनो जरा। आज अगर SBI ने प्रोवाइड किया पार्शियल क्रेडिट एनहांसमेंट of 200 crores, out of which NTPC has drawn 50 crores. The moment NTPC has drawn 50 crores, this will become on balance sheet exposure for SBI, and rest 150 crores will become off balance sheet exposure of SBI. It will become off balance sheet exposure of SBI, or we can call it as contingent liability of SBI. This is the liability on SBI only if it will be asked, then only SBI is supposed to pay. Now the question जिसके लिए आप काफी देर से टेंशन में हो कि कैसे कैलकुलेशन होगा रिस्क का, और उस रिस्क को कैलकुलेट करने के बाद हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट द कैपिटल, उसके ऊपर अगर हम बात करें सो प्लीज पे अटेंशन। Let's suppose we have a company that is XYZ. This XYZ company wants to raise 1000 crore of funds with the help of bonds, 1000 crore of funds with the help of bonds. In that particular case, current standalone rating is BBB-. और यहाँ पर कहा गया कि अगर स्टैंडअलोन का मतलब बिफोर PCE अगर रेटिंग BBB- है then you should take it at a risk, and this risk will be 100%. This risk will be what? So this risk will be 100%. Now in this particular case, if SBI is providing PCE that to 20% PCE का मतलब कितना हो गया सर? 200 करोड़ का कंटिंजेंट फंड देने का प्रॉमिस किया। सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस व्हाट विल बी द कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट? सो व्हाट विल बी द कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट अगेंस्ट द रिस्क वैल्यू? सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट अगेंस्ट द रिस्क वैल्यू, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी व्हाट? सर रिस्क कितना होगा? 200 करोड़ इज द टोटल प्रॉमिस यू हैव डन, 200 करोड़ इज द टोटल प्रॉमिस यू हैव डन, एंड व्हाट इज द risk? So risk is 9%, sorry, risk is 100%. And if risk is 100%, then the next point is, sir, what is the capital adequacy ratio? So capital adequacy ratio is 9%. So अगर 200 करोड़ का लोन दिया और उस पर रिस्क 100% का है, अगर आपको उसका 9% ऑफ द वैल्यू कैपिटल मेंटेन करना है, सो कैपिटल required for this 200 crore rupees of PCE is 18 crore rupees. समझ आई ये बात? अब let's suppose ट्रिपल बी की जगह it is only A है, तो let's say risk is 50%. So PCE is the exposure. So what is the total exposure? That is 200 crores. अगर मान लो 200 का 200 करोड़ वापस नहीं आया तो नुकसान 200 करोड़ का नहीं होगा सर। रिस्क कितना होगा सर? रिस्क विल बी 100 करोड़। नाउ रिस्क वेटेड असेट कितनी है? 100 करोड़, और हमें कितना कैपिटल चाहिए उस पर? 9%। सो कैपिटल अपॉन RWA इज इक्वल टू 9%। सो कैपिटल इज इक्वल टू 9% इंटू RWA। सो RWA यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक एसेट का कितना? 100 करोड़। तो उस केस में व्हाट यू नीड टू मेंटेन? सो यू नीड टू मेंटेन 9 करोड़ एज कैपिटल इन you must have a capital of 9 crores in order to fulfill the capital to risk weighted asset ratio. समझ आ गई बात? Clear हो गया point? If it is clear, just give me yes sir. If it is clear, just give me yes sir. ठीक है। अब हुआ क्या कि सर जब लोन दिया था एट द टाइम ऑफ लेंडिंग रेटिंग वाज BBB माइनस, और एट द टाइम ऑफ साइनिंग द PCE BBB minus was the rating. Now let's suppose after PCE and after the day-to-day operations of the company, rating improves to, let's say, A. So if the rating improves to A, which means the risk has now dropped down to 50%, which means the capital required was earlier 18, now it is required 9 crores. तो क्या बैंक अपने capital requirements को कम करेगा? नहीं करेगा। तो जो आपकी requirement at the time of issuing थी, that will remain till the end, even if the rating improves. But let's suppose अगर rating degrade हो गई, rating degrade होने का मतलब at the time of PCE agreement rating was 50%, so reserve was 9 crore, but over the period of time rating fell down to 100%. So in that particular case bank will increase its capital from 9 to 18 crore so that bank can fulfill capital to risk weighted asset ratio at 9% value. तो यहाँ पे ये कहा गया कि अगर ये value fulfill हो रही है, it's fine. If we are maintaining capital above this, because it should be greater than or equals to 9%, then it is fine, but you should not maintain less than this. If it comes less than this, then you have to increase your capital requirement. समझ आ गई बात? Then in that case, you have to increase your capital requirement. अगर यहाँ तक कोई डाउट हो तो एक बार पूछ लो, otherwise I'll read it for you. So PCE amount into risk weight at pre-enhanced rating and into CRAR, we will calculate the capital requirement. If the bond pre-enhanced rating changes, and it is above whatever was the rating at the issuance time, then in that particular case you will maintain the same capital. If it is below, you have to increase the capital. But if amortization comes below, then you have to change. What does it mean? इस पॉइंट को एक बार दोबारा से एक एग्जाम्पल से समझा देता हूं ताकि पॉइंट अच्छे से क्लियर हो जाए। सुनना ध्यान से। इसमें यह कहा गया कि सर एक कंपनी है XYZ, ठीक है जी, इस कंपनी ने 1000 करोड़ के बॉन्ड इशू किए और वो कंपनी की आज बॉन्ड की रेटिंग है A, और ये कंपनी गई SBI के पास टू सीक PCE. So SBI has signed PCE agreement, and at the time of signing, today what is the date? Sir, on 21st of August 2025, bank calculated its risk weighted asset. Risk weighted asset will be, sir, total exposure, that is, let's say 20%, let's say 30%. अगर total exposure 30% है, so this is 300 crores into the risk. What is the risk value? So risk for rating A is 50%. So in that particular case, RWA comes out to be what? Sir, it comes out to be 150 crores. So you have to maintain capital to risk weighted asset ratio of 9%. So 9% of RWA is the requirement. So in this case, it will come out to be what? Sir, it will come out to be, calculate karo yaar zara. If I'm not wrong, it is 13.5 crores. If I'm not wrong, it is 13.5 crores. This you have to maintain. Let's suppose on 22nd of August 2026, rating from A improves to A plus. If it improves to A plus, risk improves from 50 to 40%. In that particular case, capital requirement will be 9% of RWA, that is 300 crores into 40%, which comes out to be 9% of 9% of 150 crores, 12% of 150 crores, sorry, 9% of 120 crores is going to be what, sir? It is going to be 18. It is 108 crore. तो टेक्निकली बैंक को क्या करना है, जो बैंक ने पहले 13.5 करोड़ का कैपिटल रखा था, अब उसे कम करके कितना करना चाहिए, 10.8 करोड़. नो, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड. कम मत करना, उन्होंने कहा कम मत करना. समझ आई ये बात? कम मत करना ये कहा गया. लेकिन दूसरी तरफ अगर यही रेटिंग ए की जगह ए माइनस हो जाती, रिस्क 50% से 60% हो जाता, तो कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट 9% इंटू 300 इंटू 60, तो ये 180 का कितना होगा, 9% होगा. 180 का 9% अगर आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, इट इज गोइंग टू बी 16.2 करोड़. सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस, yes, you should increase the capital requirement. क्यों? Because capital to risk weighted asset ratio should be always greater than or equals to 9%. उससे ज्यादा है इट्स गुड, लेकिन उससे कम नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, एक पॉइंट तो ये है. अब दूसरा पॉइंट सुनो. दूसरा पॉइंट क्या कहता है वो ध्यान से सुनना. वो लॉजिकल है, वो भी लॉजिकल है. वो कहता है कि XYZ ने अपना लोन रिटर्न करना बॉन्ड्स के बदले में पे बैक करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. पे बैक स्टार्टेड. अब जो XYZ के ऊपर 1000 करोड़ के जो बॉन्ड इशू किए थे, उनके बदले में जो आउटस्टैंडिंग है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 200 करोड़ की है. आउटस्टैंडिंग इज ओनली 200 crores. Outstanding means liability remaining is only 200 crores. 800 crores has been paid. अब अगर 800 करोड़ पे कर दिया, तो ये जो PCE हमने पहले कहा था PCE is 300 crores, सर it is not 300 crores anymore because outstanding ही 200 करोड़ है. अगर इस पॉइंट पे कंपनी ने पैसा ना भी दिया तो लॉस कितने का होगा, 200 करोड़ का होगा. तो 200 करोड़ का 9%, let's say at 50% risk, let's say at 50% risk come out to be what? So it comes out to be 9 crore. So अगर on repayment of loan, if your outstanding loan decreases because of which your risk weighted asset decreases, then you should surely reduce the capital. तब आप कैपिटल को रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. समझ आया? अरे भाई, जब आपका एक्सपोजर ही कम हो गया, तो आप एक्सपोजर जब कम होगा तो RWA कम हो गया, तो RWA जब कम होगा तो उस केस में आप कैपिटल को भी, रिक्वायर्ड कैपिटल को भी कम करोगे. लेकिन दूसरी तरफ RWA आपका कम नहीं हुआ था. RWA का मतलब ये जो आपका एक्सपोजर था वो कम नहीं हुआ था. यहां एक्सपोजर कम हुआ बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट? सो दिस एक्सपोजर हैज रिड्यूस्ड बिकॉज ऑफ द रीपेमेंट ऑफ द लोन. बोलो समझ आया? अरे बोल यार, समझ आया या नहीं? जल्दी. ठीक है, अगला पॉइंट देखो, जल्दी से खत्म करते हैं. इफ प्री एनहांस्ड रेटिंग फॉल्स बिलो BBB माइनस, होल्ड फुल कैपिटल अगेंस्ट PCE. अगर आपकी रेटिंग BBB माइनस से नीचे जाती है तो उस केस में योर रिस्क विल बी टेकन एज 100%, एज आई हैव ऑलरेडी सेड. अगर PCE के बदले में, जैसे आज आपको मैंने PCE के बदले में 300 करोड़ की जो लिमिट थी उसमें से मैंने आपको 50 करोड़ रुपए दिए. यू आर responsible to repay within 30 days. If you don't repay within 30 days and it remains outstanding for 90 days, then after 90 days it will be declared as NPA. After 90 days it will be declared as NPA. Aggregate PCE exposure cap is less than or equals to 20% of the tier 1 capital of the regulated entity. Per NBFC or HFC, PCE exposure is less than or equal to 1% of the PCE providers capital fund. ये पॉइंट ध्यान से समझ लो. इस पॉइंट का भी एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं so that you can understand. This point in an appropriate manner. प्लीज पे अटेंशन। तो यहां पे एक एग्जांपल ले रहा हूं, प्लीज पे अटेंशन। आई एम सेइंग एसबीआई बैंक है, उसका जो टोटल कैपिटल फंड है, उसका जो टोटल कैपिटल फंड है दैट इज 5 लाख करोड़ रुपीस। टोटल है 5 लाख करोड़ रुपीस। दिस इज योर व्हाट सर, दिस इज योर टीयर 1 कैपिटल, ठीक। और टीयर 1 प्लस टीयर 2 कैपिटल ऑफ एसबीआई इज लेट्स से 6 लाख करोड़। अब ध्यान से सुनना, पहला पॉइंट है पर एनबीएफसी, पर एनबीएफसी और पर हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनी limit, it is what sir, it is 1% of, it is 1% of total capital fund. So 1% of total capital fund is 6,000 crore rupees. 1% of total capital fund is 6,000 crore rupees. Example अगर मैं लूं तो I'll say that SBI will give PCE to one company, let's say Bajaj Finance, for issuing the bonds. It cannot exceed 6,000 crore rupees. It cannot exceed 6,000 crore rupees. And if I talk about the total limit, the total PCE SBI can issue overall in the market, overall in the market is what? So it is 1%, sorry, it is 20% of tier 1 capital, which is 20% 5 lakh का, it comes out to be 1 lakh crore. So बैंक जो total PCE issue कर सकता है, that can be of what value? So that can be 20% of tier 1, and per borrower को जो issue करेगा that will be 1% of its total capital fund, 1% of its total capital fund. तो ये aggregate आ गया, ये पर आ गया, क्लियर हो गई बात। और ये जो इशूइंग है दैट विल बी डन ओनली अगेंस्ट दोज बॉन्ड्स व्हिच हैज अ मैच्योरिटी ऑफ एटलीस्ट ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल्स टू 3 years. ओनली रीफाइनेंसिंग एग्जिस्टिंग डेट पीसी प्रोवाइडर मस्ट मॉनिटर द एंड यूज। तो जो भी आपको पैसा दिया जाएगा, मान लो एसबीआई ने XYZ कंपनी को पैसा दिया अंडर पीसीई, XYZ विल यूज दैट अमाउंट ओनली टू रीपे द लोन। ऐसा नहीं है कि XYZ का जो ओनर है वो गाड़ी खरीद ले, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड। ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया। रेस्ट इज सिंपल, आप एक बार ये पॉइंट्स पढ़ लीजिएगा, इसमें कुछ ज्यादा है नहीं। सो ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट मस्ट डिस्क्लोज विद और विदाउट पीसी रेटिंग, वो जरूर उस पर लिखी होनी चाहिए, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट। इवन आई हैव इंक्लूडेड सम ऑफ द करंट अफेयर्स रेलिवेंट टू दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज, और एक बार आप उन्हें भी पढ़ लीजिएगा। कोई डाउट होगा तो आप नेक्स्ट क्लास में मुझसे पूछ लीजिएगा। कुछ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं। आई हैव अ फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट अबाउट RBI non-fund based credit facility direction 2025 are correct? They apply to commercial banks including RRBs, local area banks, urban cooperative banks, state cooperative banks, central cooperative bank, all India financial institutes, NBFCs, HFCs above middle layer. That is correct. NBFC, HFCs are covered for all NFB facilities. No sir, they are covered only and only for PCE facilities. They are not covered for all the NBF facilities. Directions will be effective from 1st of April. That is true. They apply only to new and renewed NFB facilities after the effective date. That is true. Legal basis is drawn from RBI Act, Banking Regulation Act and NHB. That is correct. So answer is going to be A option. Only second option is incorrect. Rest all the options are correct. अगला देखो. Under the new framework, NFB facilities normally require a fund tie-in with regulated entity. Which statement correctly describes the expectation exceptions? अच्छा, ये पार्ट हमारा पेंडिंग है अभी, this is pending, so I will be discussing this part in my next session. I will be discussing this part in the next session. तो एक बार आप होमवर्क ले लीजिए और you do one thing, you just go through with the PDF, try to answer these questions. Otherwise in the next class when I will be revising these questions with you, first I'll answer the concept for this, then I'll try to find out the answer for you. Okay, so take the screenshot guys so that you can identify the answer to this question. मुश्किल लग रहा होगा, लेकिन ट्रस्ट मी गाइज, अगर आपने ये कहीं और से पढ़ा होता यूट्यूब पर या डायरेक्टली RBI की वेबसाइट से, तो आपको हिलती भी नहीं है डायरेक्शन, समझ भी नहीं आता कि हो क्या रहा है। स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो तीसरे क्वेश्चन का, गिविंग यू 10 seconds. Fourth question, screenshot. Fifth question, screenshot. Guys, do not forget to hit the like button. If you haven't liked the session yet, I would request you quickly hit the like button and do share your suggestions, your feedback in the comment section. तो याद रखना, बैंक जो लोन देता है वो बैंक का जो फंडिंग है, वो जो लोन दिया बैंक ने एक्चुअल लेंडिंग की, दैट कम्स इन द बैलेंस शीट एक्सपोजर, और जो गारंटी दिया दैट कम्स इन द ऑफ बैलेंस शीट एक्सपोजर. बट इन एट द टाइम ऑफ कैलकुलेटिंग RWA, risk, balance sheet as well as off balance sheet exposure, both are included, but the intensity of off balance sheet exposure is less, the risk on the off balance sheet exposure is less in comparison to the balance sheet exposure. That is the benefit. तो कंफ्यूज मत होना कि जो पैसा गारंटी पे दिया उस पे कैपिटल मेंटेन नहीं करना, CRA मेंटेन नहीं करना. दैट इज रॉन्ग. यू हैव टू मेंटेन इट in that particular scenario, but that will be based on the risk, but risk as well as the exposure is pretty less in comparison to balance sheet exposure directly. ठीक है जी. Thank you so much. Looking forward for your feedbacks as well as suggestions in the comment section. Good luck. Stay tuned. Bye bye guys. Take care.